I'm so glad that you are here. I want everyone who listens to me know that I greatly appreciate your time. I see those numbers and I think, oh my God, thousands of people took the time out of their busy day to listen to my words. That is a great honor. I mean that with all my heart. Thank you for your most valuable resource. So let's make this valuable so we can leverage your resource. So what we're going to talk about today, let's jump into a concept that I call the piece of shit protocols. We're going to abbreviate that going forward as POS. And for my religious brothers, please pardon the cursing, but here's the reality that I want to not confront, but I want to address, that I want to speak to. Why is this even a thing? Why are we talking about it? Because I've learned that on my journey, in the journey of every client that I've had the privilege to work with now, so we've got 12 years of track record, of history, people that I started working way back when. When did you slip? When did you stumble? What challenge did you have? Like that, we have learned a lot. And one of the things that we have learned, and it is a reality of the human condition, is that there are times in your life where your life is going to suck. And I'm going to use a couple of different ways to talk about it. Your life is going to suck, meaning you are going to feel down. You are going to feel low. You are going to feel insecure. And listen, you've worked a lot on yourself. You've got a mindfulness game that's tight. You connect. You've got a good system in your life that's producing the output of positive results. Like a lot, many, like positive results, not just sobriety, but success. Here's the thing that people need to understand, at least most people need to understand. All of that does not immunize you from the reality that you are going to feel like a piece of shit sometimes, like a worthless, like that lowest point that may have driven you into recovery. You're going to feel that way again. And that's not because you're a bad person. That's not because you're not doing good work. That's not because you're not feeding the right wolf. That is because you are a human. And you will see in any comprehensive behavior change modality or system, there is a component of embracing the suck. And so the piece of shit protocols recognize it. I learned. So let me tell you what happened. So I'm doing what I love. I'm feeling great about myself. I make a mistake with a client. My neck's starting to hurt again. Some of the good habits that I've had, fell off little bit at a time, little itty bitty at a time. And I'm listing all of the possible things that you're going to experience. Maybe a medical issue, a work challenge, Google, gave me another headache. And so I remember feeling so down, so low, so empty, so hopeless, so like the world would be better off without me. Such like a POS, like a piece. I had this a part that felt like this worthless piece of shit. Now, as I've learned and I've grown over the years, I've learned that all behaviors need seeking behavior. That piece of shit part is trying to tell me something. So what I learned is that when I feel that way, when I am attaching to those words, that is a sign, that is a signal that I need something, that I have to take action. Listen, and you're gonna be there. And I'm so blessed. Everyone's thousands of people listening to this. I hope at that moment that you're doing great work. You're feeling good about yourself, and you find yourself in that low place. You say, "I knew I'd be here again," and that's okay. The reason it's okay is because you've got a plan, and that's where the concept of the piece of shit protocols came from. And what it means for me and what I want it to mean for you is to what actions do you need to take, not if, but when you feel down, when you feel low, when you feel hopeless. So what if you are truly mindful? Doesn't eliminate these bad times, these low points. It doesn't. This is such an important lesson. In fact, you find that those moments get fewer and fewer and further away, and not as dark and not as deep, the better able you are to manage them. We are creatures of habit. We're going to ebb, we're going to flow. You're going to be high, you're going to be low. And that POS part is going to awaken. So what are my POS protocols? I want to share with you the primary one. The primary one, and it is why the word safety is the most important word in my vocabulary, the most important word in my reality. And for those of you who are listening, the greater the mental health issues, the greater the trauma, the greater your reaction to the conflict, the more defensive you get, the more you shut down, the harder it is that you're able to create positive outcomes. That's unsafe. In conflict, you shut down or you get big. Why? Because you feel unsafe. That is the physiology of fear. And that's some powerful stuff, brothers and sisters. That physiology of fear literally kills you, right? Designed to keep us alive. But that's what you're feeling in that moment. Fear of abandonment, fear of rejection, fear of not being good enough. Why not being good enough? Because you get rejected, because you get abandoned. We're talking deep core wounds that are manifesting throughout your life. You're reacting this way. So back to the point I want to make. The most important word for me is safety. And by that, I mean regulating my central nervous system, creating safety so I'm not dysregulated, so I don't need to numb, cope, and escape, so I can recover when I have a negative reaction, which is really the only places you have negative reactions, wife and kids. For most of us men, it is our partners that is the source of the greatest triggers. Most of us men are projecting mother onto our partners. We feel controlled by our partners. And there's an underlying resistance to that dynamic. Now, part of emotional maturity is moving beyond that and saying, wait a minute, her reaction's coming from a place of pain. I don't have to react that way. I can create a positive outcome because I feel safe. And a shout out to Rob, going back to school for social work. This is our commercial break, and shout out to you, man. He owes it to the philosophy of the aggressive pursuit of a great life, and I'm so honored that sticks in you, in connection, and your faith, brother. That is so awesome, so awesome. Congratulations. The cure, men and partners, is the aggressive pursuit of a great life. Why? Because life is hard. Back to the topic at hand, you are going to feel low. So when I am, now, this doesn't happen often. The overwhelming majority of instances, because like I've been able to use mindfulness to heal my pre-onset Barrett's esophagus, it is gone. I've got documented medical evidence. This is insane. Documented medical evidence that mindfulness, this rotting esophagus that came from stress, has healed. That's how important safety is for me. It has become an obsession for me. Whenever that energy shifts in the body from positive to negative, whenever that physiology of fear is activated, that's a call to action. That's do something. So the piece of shit protocols recognize that you're going to be low. And what do? Is you connect. You connect. Some of you have heard this quote. Now stay with me because you've heard this 1,000 times, but I want to give you this perspective. There's a great quote in the addiction space by Jonathan Harry, Hari. He is the star of the TED Talk, Everything I Knew About Addiction Is Wrong. And there's one powerful thing that he says, which he supports by reams of evidence, that the opposite of addiction isn't sobriety, it's connection. So think about it, right? So if ever at one of these low points you reach out, you prevent the downward slide, or you de-accelerate the downward slide. Right? That is one of the most important things that you can do. So what the piece of shit protocols is a call to action. When you feel that way, when you start attaching to those thoughts, when you start going down that path, which for you, for me, can be a really dark place. I know where that goes. I have no like figments of my imagination that has I've tried to hurt myself. I've been fired from 2 jobs. I've got a part that would burn the whole house down, sabotage. And when you look at my mental health challenges and you look at trauma, the conclusion that I've come to is that, of course, I'm going to react that way. And Flex Fitness reminds us in the chat that stress is such a massive killer. It literally is a massive killer. Man, it is what's killing us. So in light of all that stress, are you going to feel down? Are you going to feel hopeless? Yes. So what you have to do is program yourself where it's a reaction. I have attached to the negative thought. I'm feeling hopeless. Here are the 4 or 5 negative thoughts that I say. When I say negative thought and believe negative thought, and here it is for me, here it is. This is like the ding, 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 ding. Get help now. Take action now. Here it is. You fucking piece of shit. You like that's you feel that. I felt it. Right. And there's a part in that moment that believes it. And so when that happens, that's a call to action. That's a connect. And listen, everybody here listening, you will save a lot of money on recovery if you find a safe, vulnerable place to connect with men, not just about this. Not just the sex and the porn cannot be the center. The symptom cannot be the center. Maybe it is in the beginning, but I don't even think that's the right thing for most people. Anyway, before I go off on another tangent, so what I hope everyone takes from this video, and if anybody listening has any questions, put them in the chat. I'm going to answer them for you. But what I want you to take from this video is recognizing the reality that you are going to experience loss, pain, suffering, trauma, hopelessness. You're going to make mistakes. And you've got to figure out your words, right? These are my words. Don't use my words. If you connect with my words, great. But you may have other words that when you are on that downward spiral early, not down here. We want to drive action up here. When you have the thought, you believe the thought, you say it in the way that I say it. You've been in this place before. You know where it goes. Like, and listen, you've got to do the work to get there. I'm talking to people who've done that work, who have in place a system to drive sustainability. So anyway, that's obviously the lesson is have a plan. Have a plan, catch it early, realize that you're on the wrong track. Realize that, wait a minute, some of my self-care routines fell off. I'm not doing the things that I need to do. And you know what the really interesting thing about mental health is, guys? So again, 12 years of professional experience helping people at what I hope to be a really, really high, difficult level in the most challenging of situations and conflict and pain and suffering. You learn a lot over the years, and you learn that sobriety, which is like step 1, 10% of the solution, and then you got the other 90% success part of the solution. You need connection. You need connection. You need tools. You need a plan for the inevitable when you feel low, when you feel down. So Flex mentions in the chat the Relay Group. There's an app that allows you to connect with other people. Check it out. I've linked to it in some other podcasts, but some people really, really like it. Really good people over there. So check them out. And the reason is, and listen, there's other things that can make up your piece of shit protocols. The one thing that I want to highlight, that I want to leave you with, or maybe the two things is, first, you're using your awareness of that state of being. You've been here before. These are the thoughts. You're attaching to the thoughts. If you're on the right track, like on the right track, so you're on the right track, and this is going to happen. So I'm repeating myself. Let me stop. This is going to happen. It's inevitable reality. You're going to be high. You're going to be low. Life is really, really, really hard. So no matter how much work you do on yourself, if you accept that reality, and maybe there's a place and time where that never happens, where I never have that thought, but in light of the challenges that we're going to have in life, I am going to plan on it. In fact, I'm going to expect it, and I'm going to build a process that has me reaching out when I'm in that low place, because the opposite of addiction isn't sobriety, it is connection. And when I look here's the chart, right? Follow my hand if you're watching this video. I'm in the lower left-hand corner of the video. We're doing a graph. We're doing like a chart, like a regular chart. So my awareness of the importance of community, pretty low in the beginning. I did a lot of one-on-one work. I still do, but that one-on-one work is different. So, awareness and like it spiked, to up here. Like it is so high. I tell my one-on-one clients that they need to connect. They need to create some sense of vulnerability. That's like actually, they're one of their problems, because they feel so isolated. Maybe they're the boss. They've got no one to talk to. Everybody looks to them. Like that is part of the problem. So promise me you'll try the group. Promise me you'll try the next level. So I really do my best to try to insist on it, because think sustainability. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. And here's what happens for some people. You strip away the coping strategies. It is not uncommon for some men, my clients are men, to get worse. That is like such a reality. We have to be aware of it. We have to talk about it. We have to think harm reduction sometimes, because that's the intelligent thing to do, because the guy's cracking up because you've removed his most powerful coping strategy. And let's say for a second that I hadn't picked up on that this is someone who's got deeper mental health issues, and we got to get that guy to a psychologist. We got to get that to a local intensive outpatient. That's not a candidate for a coaching program. So that person needs local help. The point I want to make is that the removing his decision to remove the behavior, or the therapist that he was seeing previously, pressure to remove the coping strategy, the PMO, resulted in a mental health breakdown. So, and even for men who've been on this journey long term, years later, as the coping strategies continue to fall out, you become less and less reactive, more and more present, more involved, vulnerable. There's a price to that. There's a price to feeling. And then sometimes other challenges emerge. We've had clients who spoke in front of thousands of people start getting panic attacks going to the store. So your mental health changes, and be mindful of the impact of the minimizing the coping strategy. It can be very, very serious for some people. Literally cause panic attacks, hospitalizations, breakdowns, worse behavior, an escalation of the behavior, more dangerous activity, maybe a crossover to drugs. Yeah, Nathan says that stopping the behavior addresses only the symptoms. And listen, men and partners, there is a legitimate debate regarding the sex addiction and porn addiction model. So there are really smart people arguing on both sides that here the martel's actually causing harm. No, it's not. It's helping people. And the truth is, with these complicated issues, that the truth probably is they're both right, because different strokes for different folks. Different people respond to different things. Different people respond to different things. And one of so no doubt it's important to focus on sobriety, but what else? Because the golden rule of behavior modification is, to break a habit, you have to make the right habit that meets the right need. And considering, here's the magic formula, all behavior. I'm going big, I'm doubling down. All behavior, you come up with the exceptions. I challenge you. Let me know in the comment the exceptions. There's a few, but there's not many, and they probably don't apply to you. All behavior is need-seeking behavior. To break a habit, you have to make the right habit that meets the right need. This behavior is meeting needs. I'm going to bring it back. I'm going to bring it back to where we started. That feeling of hopelessness that we started this podcast on, the piece of shit protocols, the actions that you take in that low place to feel better. You've removed a coping strategy that literally, for some of you, has kept you alive. That's how powerful it is. At these low points, you had this coping strategy. Now you're trying to hold yourself to a high standard. I'm telling you, it's dangerous in some cases to remove that coping strategy too quickly, because it can destabilize the person's mental health in a significant way that causes a crisis. So take from that what you will. Take from it, it is powerful. And I will not succeed just by not doing something. I will not succeed by just not doing something. And on top of it all, right, the piece of shit protocols are absolutely necessary, because you now have said, you know what, when I'm at that low place, I'm not going to use sex to emotionally and physically regulate. I want to hold myself to a higher standard. I want to be honest with my partner. I've come to the realization that my sexual energy is powerful, and what might be good for 8 million other people might not be good for me. Learning to channel and direct this powerful force. And you now have taken that force away at this low point. That can be dangerous. Do you get what I'm saying? Do you understand? And I hope I'm doing a good job. I want that to hit like right in the chest. It can be dangerous. That's how powerful of a coping strategy this is. That's how powerful of a coping strategy is. You have to understand that. And the partners say, you just stop. No. And that hurts, and they're hurt. Because they could just stop. Right? There's different underlying issues, different socializations, different biology, different wiring, different childhood experiences. Massively different, profoundly different. So different that the lying and the hiding around using pleasure to escape porn is the default. The lying about it is the default. Think about that. Think about that. The lying about it is the default. It's a big ask, man. It's a big ask. It's a big ask, and it's hard, and it's complicated. Well, listen, we try to make it easy, but this, listen, I'd be lying to you if I didn't. We try to make it in the Mindful Habit program. We want to accelerate your journey. We want you to build the system quicker, right? We want to accelerate. That's what people pay for, to go deeper, quicker, and have that expertise in the community. But there's also a sustainability question. And part of that sustainability is to recognize, to bring it back. And if anybody has any questions, I'll answer. I see a question there. I'll answer that. Flex got a question. Is you're going to feel down. You're going to feel low. Don't see those down or low points as a reflection of you being bad. First of all, that's making things worse. We'll save that for another broadcast. And use those moments, your awareness of those moments, as a call to action. And the opposite of addiction is in sobriety. And that means when you start attaching to those negative thoughts, part of your piece of shit protocols must be connect, tell somebody, I'll tell my buddy, hello, darkness, my old friend. I say, Tony, he's come to sit with me again. And fuck, man, this sucks. And he listens. Lets me vent a little, because there's value in doing that. It has its limitations. But there's a reach out. There's a connection. And that's the programming that I invite you to install, is when I feel this way, this is what I do. This is what I do. Flex asks, do you have plans in your head for when your partner, wife, gets triggered from something you didn't expect or you didn't realize would trigger her? Flex, everybody in the Mindful Habit system designs a spouse, partner-specific trigger response plan. So we manage risk pretty effectively. Who is the person that's going to push your buttons more than anybody else? That is undoubtedly, unequivocally your partner. That's just how it works. Most men listening to me right now are projecting mother onto their partner. Most men feel controlled. Most men feel a power dynamic, when in fact you've got a deeply wounded partner who's trying to get a sense of certainty and control. And listen, I have no doubt there might be anger and rage and pain and a lot of pain and suffering. But I want to help you see that underlying perspective where she's coming from, because we, women, are experiencing very, very, very different realities. This is our oldest and most impactful habit. Literally the default, hiding about some aspect of using pleasure to escape porn. The significance from the texting, even flirting with escorts, right? That behavior is meeting important needs. But back to Flex's question. Every man should have a partner-specific trigger response plan, and that is the escalation triage steps that you're going to take when you feel that energy shift in your body from positive to negative. When she gets triggered by something you didn't expect, so you can at least, step one or level one is don't make it worse. You might shut your mouth, you might walk away, you might do something, right? Anything to first not make it worse. That's level one. Level two is making it better, right? You're able to make it better. Just like you might navigate a professional challenge with poise, with ease, with maturity, mindfully, and you might even have a skill of solving a unique problem. But when it comes to this, boom, you're emotionally immature, you're reactive, your wife says you're a narcissist, and you say, I'm not, and you get triggered, she gets triggered. So yes, the other thing too, Flex, is the people in our program, I think I have a video on YouTube called Emotional Safety. What we also recommend is that the husband and wife come up with a plan. Why? Because she's going to be triggered when she's out. That's inevitable. That's going to happen. She's going to think you looked over there. Or you may actually look over there, you notice somebody, you bring the focus back, but she doesn't feel it's that way. So that's what are you going to do? What is she going to do when that happens? How can you create an anchor for her to assume positive intent? I'm trying. Yes, I noticed, and I'm here with you. And that's when you pull them closer. My eyes are on you. We're going to have fun today. If I got to glue my eyes, you take the sunglasses off. You make her feel safe, right? That's like level three. I made it better. You left that engagement with her saying, son of a gun, I got a great husband. I got a great partner. And that's a skill set. You can learn that skill set. There's things that you can do, and there's a framework to manage that conflict, which is awesome. All right. On that wonderful note, in light of my Few tangents. Hope you guys got great value. Any partners listening, hello, I see you. Please don't hesitate to ask questions. Love and take great pride of our betrayal trauma treatment program. If your partner's really struggling, guys, if you're listening to this, go to the website, mindfulhabithelp.com. Check out our partner program. Check out our core training program, a new mindfulness program, $9 a month. So anyway, get help. Too many blind spots to do it alone. Thank you so much for listening. I am blessed and honored to have your most precious resource, time. Feed the right wolf, embrace your power of choice, and come up with a plan and action. And listen, do it early, right? Catch it early. But there's a reality that you can't always catch it early, and that's where the POS protocols are for. Peace and love, man. Make it a great week. Bye, everybody.